Hi, I'm Kelsey, and today's class is a restorative class for your emotional well-being. And it's called for your emotional well-being because today we're going to be working with the chakra system. And the chakra system is 7 energy centers that run up and down our body, mainly through the spine. So it's going to be starting at the base of our spine all the way up to the crown of our head. And today we're going to be working with a second chakra, which is our sacral chakra center. And it is right here in this womb space. So you can think of it as holding your emotions and as well as your sense of pleasure and sexuality and creativity, and the element is water. So with a chakra imbalance in our sacral chakra, sometimes it can manifest in our physical being as a tight back. So we're going to be working some of the psoas and just stretching the lower back in general and some of the restorative postures. So for today, your props are going to be at least 2 blankets and a bolster if you have it. If you don't have a bolster, just grab a couple extra more blankets, and you can even use bath towels as a blanket. And I'm going to show you really quick how to fold these blankets if you don't have a bolster. So if you have these traditional Mexican blankets, you're going to fold it in half lengthwise. I learned like hot dog, you fold it hot dog, and then you'll fold that in half in hamburger. Stupid, I know. So you end up with this shape right here. If I can, maybe showing it from the side will be a little bit better. So we're going to fold it into this accordion shape, and you're going to start with that large square and you're going to fold it over and then back. So you have this nice little accordion fold. And then if you have multiple blankets, if you're just using blankets, I would suggest at least three or four. So this is what it looks like with 2. And if I was only using that, like I said, I'd use another one. But it gives you the similar shape of a bolster, and it simulates it. So there's that. And I will go through again to show you how to fold it in just a little bit as we get into the class, because we're going to be using the blanket for something else first. But with that being said, I wanted to note that I'm not going to be doing some of those postures with you just because it's too much wrestling of the mic. So I'll guide you into it. And if you see me up, don't worry about it. I'll guide you back out of the pose whenever it's time. And Shavasana. I'm not going to stick around for the entire Shavasana with you just because it takes about 10 to 15 minutes for your blood pressure and your heart rate to fully come down, just in Shavasana alone. So I want you to stay as long as you can. So I'll just leave the class. So with that, grab your props if you need them. Again, if you're only using blankets, use 3 to 4. 2, if not, if you have a bolster, then use 2 blankets and a bolster, and we'll get started. So to get started, we'll be in a seated position. And I want you to sit on something to lift your hips up a little bit, and I want them to be higher than your knees, just to kind of a sense of dripping down, right? Like water dripping down, okay? So once you find your little prop, it can be your bolster, your block, blankets, whatever you need. Once you arrive, go ahead and get comfortable. Close the eyes. And just start to breathe normally. Just arriving here. Settling onto our mat. Now start to deepen your breath. Do complete inhales, full exhales. And as you're inhaling, start to maybe visualize your breath as a wave rushing in all the way down to that sacral chakra, that womb space in your belly. And exhaling it out like the tide. So just inhaling it, letting it rush in like a tide, and exhaling, letting it roll out like a tide. Do a few more rounds on your own, visualizing your breath moving with fluidity up and down the body into that sacral chakra. One last full breath here. Exhaling it out the mouth. Go ahead and open your eyes. Remove the prop that you were sitting on and come onto your back. So as I said, we're working into the sacral chakra a little bit here to begin with. And we're going to move into some pelvic rock tilts. It's kind of like cat-cow, but with your pelvis. So it'll be like this. You're going to inhale and you're going to rock forward onto the base of your sacrum. And exhale, you'll flatten the lower back onto the ground and your tailbone will come up just a little bit. You'll inhale, rock forward, exhale to rock back with your pelvis. And it's just a really gentle movement, so you may not see it show up on camera a lot, but just know that with your inhale, you're tipping your pelvis sort of towards your thighs here, and your lower back will arch off the ground a little bit. And exhale, your lower back will come back onto the mat and your tailbone will lift up a little bit. So inhale, tip it forward. Exhale, lift your sacrum a little bit. Inhale, exhale. Moving a few more rounds, just easing into sort of a softer practice. Not sort of, it is a softer practice. We're moving from really the busyness of the day to the stillness and quietness of the night, just preparing our body. 2 more rounds. Exhale. And if you want, we're going to bring our right knee here into our chest. And if you want to try it at first with this left leg out long, that's fine. Just test it out and see what it feels like in your body. If you need to, if this does not feel good, you can bring your left foot up to a bend and just stay here. So we're coming into a psoas release, and that psoas is what runs in front of our pelvis as a hip flexor, and it connects into our lower back. So sometimes whenever that's really short and tight, that can give us that crankiness in our lower back. So we're going to work to release it a little bit. At first, I want you to take your right knee and just gently move it side to side. You're going to clasp around right here in your shin, you're right below your knee. Just gently moving it side to side. Bringing it back through to center. So here you're going to take a big, deep inhale breath in. And you're going to pause and hold it at the top. And while you're holding it, you're going to gently push your knee into your hand and your hand into your knee. Just give it a little resistance. And then as you exhale, you'll bring it back into your chest as much as you can. And you don't want it to be really painful. We're not looking for that here. It's just really gentle. So just move it back just where it stops, and then that's it. So you'll take a big, deep inhale breath in. We'll do this 3 times. Inhale. Holding at the top, gently pushing away. Exhale. Release. 2 more times. Inhale. Push and hold. Exhale. to release. One last time, inhale. Holding it, pressing gently. Exhale to release, and then you're just going to hold here. And you just want it to be a really passive hold. You don't want to be gripping anywhere. What we're looking for is just a relaxation. So here, while we're holding this, you can think of your psoas kind of like a rubber band. And if you brought, or even any kind of muscle really, if you brought the two ends together of a rubber band, how it slackens, that's what we're doing with this psoas right here. So we're bringing the two ends of the muscle together so it can slacken and release. And holding it here is just giving it enough time for it to just really let go. So notice if there's anywhere else in your body that you can let go. Your jaw, your face. And maybe with time, you can feel that the muscle is just starting to really relax, because even just here, I can tell that my leg is just getting a little bit heavier. A few more breaths here. Last breath. On your exhale, just gently guide it back down onto your mat. And whether you had your leg out long or bent, just leave it there. And just pause to notice the difference. Maybe you feel a warm rushing sensation throughout that right leg, your psoas. Maybe you feel a little bit flatter in your hip. Just see if you can feel any different sensations. Okay, moving on to the left side. Just pausing to notice here. I mean, every side's different on your body, so if you need to relax that leg long to test it out to see if that feels good, or if you want to bend your leg, do what works for you. Bringing that left knee into the chest, gently rocking it side to side to start with. Bring it back through to center. Getting ready. Inhale. Pausing at the top, gently press away. Exhale. Bring it a little closer. If my inhales and exhales don't work for you, just do it at your own pace. Just remembering that you're going to inhale and pause and press. And as you're ready to exhale, you let go. 2 more times. And after your 3rd time, just remembering to hold it here. Just letting it slacken, letting it relax. Notice if there's anywhere else in your body that you're tensing, you're gripping. Relax your shoulders and your jaw. Letting your arms do all the work. Typically takes around somewhere around 60 minutes or 60 seconds, for your muscle to relax. Just giving it a little bit of time. Don't rush it. Take 2 more breaths here. One last inhale. One last exhale. Release your leg to meet the other one and just pause and notice. Take one more breath here. And as you're ready, you can roll over onto one of your sides. Use your hand to come up to a seated position and grab your blanket. Just one. We're going to take our blanket and unfold it and just start to roll it up. We're going to take this roll and put it right here, directly under our hip bones, onto that psoas for just a little bit more compression and a little bit more releasing. We won't be here long, so you may need to come down and figure it out, your situation. Find this spot, and it may not be real noticeable at first, but just bear with me here. So you'll come down onto the belly, your hands will stack on top of one another, and your head will come down. Just hang out here. While you're here breathing, take a big deep inhale and complete exhale. I want you to imagine with every exhale, see if you can soften and relax into that blanket a little bit deeper. Just softening the muscles. Just imagine them melting into that blanket. Since we're working with the sacral chakra and our hips, and I just want you to notice if there's any emotions coming up for you. Just notice them without judgment, and just watch them. Our hips store a lot of our emotions, and since our sacral chakra is a place of emotions, I just want you to notice that. Sometimes your emotions are your language of the soul, and sometimes we neglect that. We neglect our emotions, and we just need to remember that we always need to just watch ourselves, take account. Take 2 more breaths here. As you're ready, you can use your hands. Walk yourself back up to a seated position. And just come up. Remove the blanket out of the way. And then come back onto your back. Coming into constructive rest. So you come onto your back. Take your feet as wide as your mat. And just let your knees knock in. And if this is uncomfortable for you, just plant your feet at hip width distance and just take notice and pause. See if there's anything coming up for you. Notice how your body feels. Take one more breath. And exhale. Again, walk your feet to hip width distance. Roll over onto one side. Make your way up. And you're gonna need, if you're using your blankets as your bolster, go ahead and grab them. Grab your bolster. Coming back into that accordion fold with that blanket. Go up and back. Tri-fold. Smoothing it out. Coming into supported child's pose. So if you have your blankets, you'll stack them. And then come into your child's pose. You'll, on your kneeling position, sliding it in between your legs and then resting over it. I'm gonna grab my bolster since I have it. I'm just gonna stack it on top of my blankets. So if child's pose does not work for you, you can always just take a seated position and just imagine yourself there, or you can come onto your back and imagine yourself there. There's a lot of power in the mind and imagining yourself in these positions too. So do what works for you, and if something doesn't work, just find another way, okay? So again, sliding it into between your knees, walking your hands down. Head will come whichever way you wish. Just relaxing down. Making sure that you're not using your hands or your arms in any way. You're completely relaxed. I'll let you know whenever it's time for you to turn your head the opposite direction. Noticing that if there's anywhere else you're holding on to, like the belly, your face, going back to your breath. Just as you're here, just notice if you can feel completely at peace from within. It takes a lot of work for us to come back to stillness. And it's okay if your mind wanders. Just gently guide it back to the breath. You can go ahead and turn your head the opposite direction if you wish. Again, your emotions are your language of the soul. Notice if anything's coming up for you. Notice it without judgment. Come back to your breath if you need to. for about 5 more breaths here. Take one last big deep inhale. One full exhale. And as you're ready, gently lift your head. Use your hands to sit back. Come to a seated position. Next, we're coming into a supported twist. So you'll just keep your bolster or your blankets in the exact same position. And your legs will come into somewhat of this shape. Just find something that's comfortable for you. So they could be here or here, wherever. You could also grab an extra blanket, set it between your knees, if that feels good. So you're gonna bring your props up to your hip, a few inches away. You're going to turn your torso to face your bolster, and you're going to take a big deep inhale to get long. And as you exhale, you'll walk your hands down over your bolster, and your head will come to face the side where your legs are. Just getting really comfortable there. Making sure that you're not using your arms. Just let them relax. Is there anywhere else where you can relax? Your jaw. Let your belly go. And see if you can come back to that visualization of your breath as a wave. Rushing in and down to your sacral chakra area. And exhaling to come back out. Inhaling as it rushes in. And exhaling as it pulls out. If your mind is starting to wander, just go ahead and bring it back to your breath. And if you're having a hard time concentrating on your breath, maybe just visualize waves of the ocean. Just coming in as you inhale and pulling out as you exhale. Just like a life force coming in as you inhale. Pulling out as you exhale. Get a few more breaths here. Last breath here. Exhale. Go ahead and gently lift your head. Use your arms to walk your way back up. We'll just come right into the second side. So we'll just turn around. Scooch up close to your props. Legs can be whatever you want. Just make sure that they're about equal to what you did on the first side. Again, you're going to turn your torso to face your prop. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to walk your torso over the bolster to come to lay down onto your belly. Head will come to face your legs, or the side where your legs are. And completely relax here. Come back to that visualization of the ocean if you need to, or the wave washing in as your inhale, pulling out as your exhale. Again, just making sure that you're watching yourself without any judgment. Just letting it be. Just experiencing this present moment. Just 3 more breaths here. Last inhale. Complete exhale. And as you're ready, you can gently lift your head. Walk your arms back up. To walk your body back up. Come to a seated position. Coming into Shavasana, and I'm going to offer a Shavasana to where you are completely just tucked in. So I want you to take one blanket and completely unfold it. You're going to cover your body with this one. Then take your second blanket, unfold that one as well, but keep it at this long rectangle. Just want you to loosely roll up about halfway or so. Come onto your back. This roll will come into the crease of your neck, the curve of your neck. But before you lay down, I want you to take your blanket and tuck it underneath your feet and just tuck yourself in. Just tuck yourself in as much as you can. And then when you come to lay down, you'll have that neck roll. Get it just situated just so. You don't want too much support, but you don't want not enough either. Just get it just right. So you'll take your neck roll and you're going to start folding it under around your head, folding it around and up if you need to. And then just take the rest of the blanket and roll it under as well, making this nice little cocoon for your head. And then take your blanket. You can tuck your arms in if you wish. Just continue to tuck your way in all the way up. Arms in or out. Palms facing up. Go ahead and relax. Roll your shoulders onto your back. Making sure that everything is nice and relaxed. Just letting your body feel supported by the earth. Letting it melt everywhere. Get really heavy. Making sure your jaw and your belly, the space between your eyebrows, are softened. Go ahead and relax, taking Shavasana. Just know that you deserve for life to feel good. You deserve for life to feel good. Namaste.